Call of Duty is without a doubt the most successful first-person shooter franchise of all time. Releasing new titles on an annual basis since 2005, this series has gone on to make some of the most beloved and iconic shooters of all time. But out of all the 17 games they've released, which one is the best? That unfortunately is impossible to point out from an objective standpoint. While Call of Duty has one of the largest gaming communities, it is also the most divided, with everyone having their own strong opinion on what games of the franchise are good and which ones are bad. Therefore, this video will be completely subjective as I base my selection only on my personal opinion. I've been playing Call of Duty since I was 13, and to say that I have had a love-hate relationship with this franchise would be a massive understatement. However, despite how I feel about the franchise as a whole, I've still bought every single Call of Duty release since Call of Duty 4, save for a couple of games that I thought looked just too horrible to buy. Therefore, while it is not my favorite shooter by any means, I still really enjoy a lot of the games they've released and have gone on to sink many hours into them, and I wanted to share which game I believe is the best and give my reasons as to why. Now, before I get into what I believe is the best overall Call of Duty game, I wanted to divide the games by each segment. I don't believe that there is one single perfect Call of Duty, and some titles may reign in areas where others fall. Therefore, I will be discussing which Call of Duty I believe has the best campaign, the best multiplayer, and the best zombies. Finally, I'll end the video off discussing which game I believe to be the best overall. So let's get started with talking about the campaigns. While not everyone plays each game's campaign, I would have to say this is definitely a segment that the franchise excels in. The majority of Call of Duty campaigns I have played were all very good, both from a gameplay standpoint and from a story standpoint. This is definitely a very divisible subject, as Call of Duty has had many iconic campaigns throughout the years. COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, and Black Ops 1, to name a few. However, despite believing that most Call of Duty campaigns are top tier, I would have to say that one stands far above the rest, and that is Call of Duty World at War. This campaign gripped me from start to finish. The story was simple and based around an era most people are familiar with, but did not fail in capturing the dark and dreary image that they wanted to depict the Second World War as. This campaign was very different from every other campaign in the series. Typically, COD has always gone for a fast-paced, Michael Bay action, blow-em-up style shooter. But World at War decided to go for a much darker approach to the feel of their game, which really helps you get immersed in the story. On top of the immersive setting and simple yet effective story, I found it was one of the most fun campaigns to play through. It had some of the most iconic missions in the history of COD campaigns. My favorite being Vendetta, where you and Sergeant Reznov move silently through the streets, avoiding Nazi regimes in order to assassinate a high-ranking Nazi general. It was also the first Call of Duty that offered a co-op campaign to play with one other person. My brother and I probably beat this campaign a good 10 times when we were younger. Overall, I thought this campaign was spectacular, and despite me enjoying a lot of other campaigns in the series, I believe that none of them came close to the masterpiece that was World at War. Call of Duty's multiplayer mode is the most popular part of the game, and is what most fans of the series will look to when deciding if they want to buy the game. In addition, this is also by far the most divisive segment of each game. Every time there's a new Call of Duty releasing, there is an army of fans that claim the game is terrible, while there is an equally big army of fans that claim the game is amazing. Therefore, no matter what Call of Duty I put as the #1 spot on this segment, I will undoubtedly have an army of people that oppose my choice and yell at me for being such an idiot. This is definitely the segment of the franchise that I have the love-hate relationship with, as I believe that Call of Duty has released both amazing and terrible multiplayer experiences. Now, my pick for the top COD multiplayer is one that will be extremely controversial to say the least, but I gave it some hard thought, and I believe that Modern Warfare 2019 is the best multiplayer Call of Duty has ever released. Now, I realize that a lot of hardcore, old-school Call of Duty fans want to kill me right now, but please hear me out. I have a strong love for the Golden Age COD multiplayers. I've had a ton of fun when I was a young teenager playing games like Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3. I was too young to play Call of Duty 4 when it first came out, but I played the remastered version quite a bit when that came out, and I loved that too. I debated putting COD 4 as the #1 spot, as it is a very fun game that I found the perfect ratio between balance and chaos. Some games like Modern Warfare 2 were just too chaotic for me, while some games like Black Ops 1 were too overbalanced and came off as boring, and COD 4 was able to find the best of both worlds. However, after thinking about it, Modern Warfare 2019 is the Call of Duty game that I had the most fun playing. After Black Ops 2, I really didn't enjoy a whole lot of multiplayer experiences the franchise released. I found them very dull and repetitive, and I wouldn't play any of them for more than a couple weeks. To add on to that, Call of Duty was still using the same engine they had since 2007, so the franchise was starting to feel really dated. Every single game that came out felt primitive and ancient, and I found myself losing more and more interest in the franchise as time went on. Modern Warfare 2019 completely changed that, and turned me back on to the franchise. They finally updated their engine, making the game feel more modern while still keeping the same familiar game mechanics that make Call of Duty what it is. The game looks great and feels nice and smooth and is overall a very pleasant experience to play. The gameplay is faster than most typical Call of Duties. I know a lot of people dislike that about the game, but I really enjoyed the faster energy. The game wasn't perfect by any means. The high TTK encouraged a lot of people to play very passively and camp in buildings for entire matches. However, despite how frustrating this got, I felt that the game was so fun to play that I was able to tolerate playing against the occasional coward. Overall, it was a game that I personally had the most fun with, and it was the multiplayer I sunk the most amount of hours in. It both revived and increased my love for the franchise, and made me excited for new releases for the first time in a long time. Black Ops Cold War would then go on to completely fuck that up, but that's another topic for another day. It was a really fun and well-made game that I really enjoyed, and that's why I put it as the #1 multiplayer experience. So before I get into talking about zombies, yes, I am aware that there have been plenty other third game modes released by the Call of Duty series throughout the years, but none of those game modes have ever reached the success that zombies had, and quite frankly, weren't very good. So zombies will be the only third game mode in question for the purposes of this video. Zombies was a very interesting addition to the franchise. What started out as a small pet project for the developers of World at War would quickly rise in popularity throughout the release of each new Treyarch game, and has developed its own massive fan base of hardcore zombies players. This goes for me as well. I was a huge zombies fan and put far more hours and attention into this game mode than any other game mode in the series. Since the explosion of popularity with Treyarch's game mode, Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer Games would go on to release their own versions of this game mode, each having controversial receptions. For this video, I am only going to be analyzing Treyarch Zombie mode, as I have not played too much of the other studios' modes, and quite frankly, I didn't really want to. Treyarch has made several amazing zombie experiences throughout their games, with each game featuring more complex maps than the last one. A zombie player's opinion on which game is the best will depend on whether or not you like simple maps like Der Riese, or complex maps like Origins. I like a good mix of both, and this is one of the reasons why I believe that Black Ops 3 has the best zombies experience we have ever seen. This was a very close contender with Black Ops 2, as that game is home to one of the greatest maps ever created, such as Mob of the Dead, Buried, and Origins. However, I decided to put Black Ops 3 at the #1 spot for this category. There are several reasons as to why I put this game as the #1 spot. For starters, it was the game that I had the most fun with. I bought the game as soon as it came out exclusively for the zombies mode. My friends and I all bought the season pass and eagerly looked forward to every new map they released. Additionally, this game also gave us some of the best maps of all time. Shadows of Evil, Der Eisendrache, and Garag Krobi are some of my favorite maps to be created. To make matters even better, they released Zombie Chronicles, which brought back remastered versions of some of my favorite zombies maps such as Keener der Toten, Ascension, and Origins. With all this put together, you can see why I believe that Black Ops 3 is the best zombies experience we've ever got. It might not have the best weapons selection, and it's missing great Black Ops 2 classics such as Mob and Buried, but it makes up for that with other great maps the game has in its roster. Black Ops 3 is just the complete package when it comes to zombies. It offers great complex maps such as Shadows of Evil and Origins, while adding some of the best simple maps such as Kino. There's something for everyone in Black Ops 3, and if I had to pick just one zombies experience to play for the rest of my life, it would be Black Ops 3. And that's why I put it as the #1 spot. So I hope that you guys can see now why I decided to break up the games by each segment first. I wanted to make a point that there isn't one perfect Call of Duty that does everything better than the others. Each good game in the franchise has its own strengths that it excels in, and I wanted to point that out. Therefore, the best Call of Duty game of all time does not do everything the best, however, it does the best in terms of a cumulative standpoint. And after careful consideration, in my opinion, there is only one Call of Duty game that is fitting to be named the best of all time. Black Ops 2 was the best overall Call of Duty the franchise has ever seen. The campaign was fun and had a really interesting and engaging story that tied in perfectly with the first Black Ops game. The multiplayer was a ton of fun and, similar to Call of Duty 4, was able to find a great ratio between balance and chaos. The zombies were one of the best experiences we've ever seen and opened up the floor for more interesting complex maps that Black Ops 3 would become known for. It's just an overall amazing game. Every aspect of the game is fun and extremely well made, which cannot be said for most of the games in the franchise. A lot of people would put Modern Warfare 2 as their #1 spot, but honestly, the multiplayer just didn't do it for me. It was just way too over the top and had way too many balancing issues that made the game practically unplayable in my eyes. Some may put the first Black Ops game at the top, given it has one of the best campaigns in the franchise and an incredible zombies experience. However, like Modern Warfare 2, I just didn't enjoy the multiplayer enough to consider it to be a complete package of a game. Honestly, the closest contender against Black Ops 2 in my opinion is Call of Duty 4. However, I find that COD 4's lack of a third game mode put it behind Black Ops 2. I know that a lot of people don't care about zombies or a third game mode and are perfectly happy just playing the multiplayer and campaign, but for me personally, I find that having a third game mode, specifically zombies, adds so much more to the game and keeps me playing it for a much longer period. Black Ops 2 isn't the best at anything. I think there are plenty of better campaigns out there in the series. The multiplayer wasn't quite as good as COD 4 or Modern Warfare 2019 for me. The closest thing it almost did best was the zombie mode, but I find that Black Ops 3 has a lot more variety than Black Ops 2. But despite not having any 10 out of 10 segments, every segment is at least an 8 out of 10 or higher. It's just an overall excellent game across the board, and that's why, at least for me, it is the best game in the entire franchise. So this concludes my opinion on what I believe is the best Call of Duty game in the entire franchise. Let me know if you guys agree with me, and if you disagree with me, let me know why. Also, what do you guys think is the best game in the franchise and why? This is all subjective at the end of the day, and I'm very curious what other people think about this. But other than that, thanks for watching, and goodbye.